We're talking about history here, people.
And K-pop.
And K-pop.
I said, go big blue. It's a letter to Lexington, message from me to you. Never thought I'd make it in a place like this. Never thought I'd make it in a place like this. Never thought I'd make it in a place like this. Never thought I'd make it in a place like this.
Well, Dr. Mandy Higgins, we are in the Lex History Museum, and a lot of people don't know this museum exists, even though, I mean, it was around for a while, went away for a bit, and I guess you've been back for a few years now?
Just a little over 2 years.
Okay, so still fresh and new, which is, sounds like an oxymoron for history, but I like to say that, we're constantly learning about our history, and that's the new take. So tell me a little bit more about the Lex History Museum.
Yeah, so as you said, we were around for about a decade in your home,
yes.
The old courthouse. And then, bad things happened. Asbestos, mold paint, things you don't want.
You don't want
humans to be in. Your artifacts don't want to be in. It's not good.
Yes.
So the decision was made appropriately to close the museum, move everybody out for safety, and rehab that space. And now, of course, it's a beautiful space downtown, and we're so lucky to have Visit Lex and Sims and all the things there. But that left the museum kind of in the wilderness for a little while. And there were some efforts to figure out where to put it. And then finally, through some really serendipitous support from the city of Lexington and our donors, we were able to move to 210 North Broadway, which is the Thomas Hunt Morgan House, the former home of the Women's Club of Central Kentucky, and open the museum in August of 2023.
Yeah, I mean, that you condensed it, but I know opening a museum just in general is hard enough, and then with all the obstacles that happened, but it did happen. Talk a little bit about the process of reopening Lex History Museum.
Yeah, so I'm really proud of this. It's not cool to be proud, but I'm very proud of the work that we did. So I started in October of 2022, and the first piece was to figure out what we had.
Yeah.
What kind of stories can we tell? And we started immediately to do that, bringing the collection back together, seeing some of the cool pieces we had that would get people excited about Lexington history and what stories we could tell. And then we did the research and the layout and the design so that we could open in August of 2023. And our main exhibit, the exhibit we're sitting in, is our anchor. So when you come to the museum, we want you in this space to get your feet wet in Lexington history, to answer those big questions like, why is Lexington where it is? Where's the water?
Right.
How did horses get here? And then send you to do some deep dives elsewhere or help inform us on what else we could interpret.
Yeah.
So we asked visitors, what is it that brings you to Lexington? Are you local? Are you visiting? If you're visiting, where are you coming from? And what do you know now?
Yeah.
And what can we help you learn more of? And we do it through all kinds of, we talk about hemp, and we talk about bourbon, and we talk about IBM.
Yeah, we talk about it reminds me of Visit Lex. We start, the pillars are sometimes what drives people. And then once you get people in the door through horse, equine, like you said, different agriculture things, IBM. I'm part of the IBM movement. My mom actually started at IBM and moved here. And so we were part of that, which makes me like a first generation Lexingtonian.
I hear this all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a week that goes by when someone doesn't say, oh, my granddad was at IBM, or my whomever was at IBM, or I typed on a Selectric, and it's so incredible to see it.
Yeah, and people don't seeing the transition of IBM to Lexmark to HP to I think Xerox now. So that all kind of stemmed from this boom, and so much of us are part of history in Lexington, and there's so many different exhibits. And I mean, I know you all went through the artifacts and different things that you had, but how did you really narrow things down to what you were going to focus on? Because there's only so much space, but there's so much history.
Right, that's exactly right. We did a lot. We talked to folks. What matters to you as a Lexingtonian? What do you know and what don't you know? What are some of those deep questions you have about Lexington's past that we can help get you to? And then we surveyed what other folks were doing, history-minded organizations were doing around town, so we didn't replicate that.
Right.
So
yeah.
when you come to visit Lex History, there's one picture of Henry Clay. And it's in the section about him.
Yeah.
Because you can go to Ashland and get a much deeper story that we couldn't do in the space that we have. Right. But what we can focus on is some of the places that don't have homes for their history or that don't have the grounding so that when you go visit them, you can better understand. Equine's a really good example of this. You can have whatever experience you want, right? And there's so many stories. But the overall, what is the impact of the horse on Lexington and why is that so special here? Yeah. We can tell that, highlight a key individual or a key farm that you can't really visit anymore. Yeah. And then you can take that knowledge when you go to see a working farm today or you go out to the races at Keeneland. Yeah. So we wanted to be a place to be able to do that, to spark that curiosity, and then to help you find those answers, even if it's not with us.
Yeah. One of the things that you just mentioned is like finding those answers, and you really are a resource for, so what types of people do you see coming in here, even beyond just the regular visitor?
Yeah, we get a number of researchers who have those burning questions, right? Like, my grandpa went to Transy and he had this experience and I don't know where that building is anymore. And sometimes we can't answer it, so we send it to our friends across the city who might have that answer. We get a lot of people who are buying historic homes and want to know more about Lexington when their home was built, or how did this neighborhood develop, or those sorts of things. So that's a really fun conversation to have. And then we get just the curious, of course we get visitors and students and things like that are just walking in, but we also get a lot of Lexingtonians who didn't know a piece and they heard about something when, a newspaper interviewed us or something was in, on TV, and they're like, but I don't understand. Yeah. Can you help us? And we get to do that, which is really exciting. And then maybe the most fun visits are folks who have a piece of Lexington history and they want to share it with us. So they come in and they have a horse harness, or they have a piece of sort of, just whatever it may be, and they're getting to a point where they don't feel like they can take care of it anymore, or they don't want to, and we get to have that conversation. And sometimes it's incredible, it's something that everyone knows, and it's an incredible thing to hold. But a lot of times it's very personal, and that tells us a lot about Lexington then, right? Yeah. Like, one of my favorite pieces is a beaten biscuit machine. Oh,
I love that. Well, I have an affinity for like food history and how it ties in, because I think it can branch off. So talk more about that.
So longtime friend of the museum, cleaning out her house, found the beaten biscuit machine that she made beaten biscuits with her mother on their family farm that is now the Fayette Mall.
That is hilarious.
Right? So you get this piece of machinery.
Yeah.
You get to talk about beaten biscuits, which are like deeply Lexington, deeply Southern piece of food. Only a couple places you can get them at this point. And the labor that goes into a beaten biscuit and those sorts of things. I looked at
a recipe. Actually, Dr. Giles had like a recipe book. I mean, like it was almost like falling apart, but she's done a good job of preserving it. And I'm like, I did not know how long it took to make
hundreds of beats.
And
once you had the machine, you had to feed it through. Like, I think the recipe that the donor gave us is her family recipe, and it was 80 to 100 times that you fed the dough through the machine. Yeah. Because you're trying to get all the air out. Yeah. And it basically tastes like hardtack. All right. It's not my favorite, but people love it. So we get to talk, right? The labor that goes into it. You can think about who was in a kitchen. Yeah. Why would a mother be teaching her daughter this in the 1930s, 1940s? And then you also have this bigger entryway into a much broader history of food, into a ways to entertainment, into all of these other things that let us sort of connect with the past and relate to where we are today.
Yeah, I think tapping into that nostalgia, a lot of that history is so personal. And while, a lot of stories, and there's just Lexington history that has always been highlighted and will continue to be highlighted because it is that like through line and that connection to present day. I kind of want to talk about like untold stories, right? Why is it so important for those untold stories, and what are some of the stories that people might not know about Lexington that need to be told?
Yeah, I think most of Lexington's history is more of that untold piece. And it's really important that we do that, because the thing about history, historians, as a historian, historians have a tendency to get really excited about the things that they can prove and that they can show somewhat easily. Right? Because the stories we have are typically from folks who've preserved something, letters or their home or whatever it is. But that gives us this very small slice of the world. And so if we only tell those really, in a lot of ways, unique because they survive stories, most of us are left out. And it's hard to grasp or hard to relate to these figures that can become mythical in the retelling of history over and over again. That's not a bad thing necessarily. We should have people we can strive to relate to, and we should be able to see, the uniqueness of the American experiment. But the vast majority of us are just everyday people who are going about our lives, making history because we are living it, right? We're moving through it. And so I think what's so incredible about Lexington is all of the ways that everyday Lexingtonians impacted the world they were living in, and we continue to see that today. Becoming a better known story, for example, or that Lewis and Harriet Hayden.
Yes.
So Lewis and Harriet Hayden escaped enslavement here in Lexington. They have connections. Their stories connect to some of these mythical figures, like the Marquis de Lafayette and Henry Clay. But their story really shaped a huge part of understanding Lexington in the 1840s, and then went on after they escaped enslavement and or purchased their freedom, particularly Lewis's freedom, and that then freed Calvin Fairbank, who was able to go on to help free other enslaved people throughout that period. And then they were successful business people in Boston after the American Civil War. And today, a scholarship endowed by Harriet from their estate still gives money to students to attend Harvard Medical School, right? And that started on 2nd Street here in Lexington.
And the fact that, this Juneteenth, they did a reveal of the memorial right in front of Lexington Traditional Magnet School. And I know that was a decade in the making. And sometimes I don't think people really understand how much work and research and planning and logistical things, logistics that go into even just recognizing those stories that are so pivotal to really the foundation of not only Kentucky, but like America in general. I know sometimes history can sometimes be controversial, right? But I think that's the great thing about it, is that you're able to share those stories. And a lot of times, if there's not records on file, a lot of times it's oral, and that's like something that you specialize in when it comes to oral history. So what really got you into oral history in general? Because I know you've been a storyteller since you were yay high.
Yeah, well, I was very lucky to have parents who had me reading at a very young age and had books in front of me at all times. I will answer your question. I did want to point out, you made the point that it can be controversial, but I think another way to think about it is that it can be real, right? History is about people, and people are complicated. The best people, the worst people, we're all just people.
There's a lot of gray.
There's a lot of gray.
People want things to be good guy, bad guy. And I think, no, are we 100% good or 100% bad? Like you said, history can sometimes get mythical and not reach to the factual nature of, like you said, human beings are complicated. And so history is complicated.
That's right. We talk about here in the museum, and I talk about when I go out, having multiple truths, right? We can hold that a person did this incredible thing while also doing this incredibly bad thing, right? And so that's what drew me to history, is the complication of people. If you're only fed, or you only have access to the cleanest, clearest story, then oftentimes you can't relate, right? Like the best books, the best TV is really complicated. And that's true in real life too. And so that's why I wanted to be a historian. I wanted to tell those complicated stories and to find ways to understand those questions of, where is the water? Right? Like, that's a silly question here for Lexington, but it's a really important one. And it's a really complicated one when you really dig down into it. And that I wanted to know, and I wanted to be able to share that in a way that was approachable, because the other piece for me was, like many people in Kentucky, I went to Kentucky public schools. I had a great education, but my history teacher was an old coach who had been in the military and only wanted to teach sort of very old school American Revolution and the War of 1812 and then, presidents and the Civil War. And it was just very linear and very top heavy. It wasn't appealing, right? It wasn't as exciting. So I wanted to be able to do those sorts of exciting pieces and to get people to connect that way. And then obviously there was always just a tiny little bit of spite to motivate the rest of it, right? And that has been really, for me, the most fulfilling part, is being able to take a piece of something that I just learned or that I have and share it with folks who maybe didn't know or were scared to ask the question, and then that opens the door to get to the next piece. And it's really cool here to watch someone make a connection or to see, Calumet Farm was actually because of Calumet baking soda, and I baked my bean biscuits. Right. Yeah. You didn't, because there's no baking soda in bean biscuits. But that, to make those connections that then lead to deeper questions.
Yeah, I think that connectivity is important. And I think people are always trying to connect the dots as it can relate to themselves and their experience. And when we just talk about history, I love history, and as I've gotten older, I'm just more interested in it. But, some people might think, a museum's boring or whatever. What do you say to those people that haven't had a chance to come experience the Lex History Museum or, are just kind of like, I don't know if I'll be interested?
Yeah, I would, my first say is, this isn't high school.
Yes.
There's no tests.
Right.
We are not expecting you to know dates. What we want you to do is find that piece that interests you, that excites you. And that could be, to quote a friend of mine, we all contain multitudes, right? So it could be that you just really love sports. Well, let's talk about sports impact in Lexington. And it's huge. We could talk about the university, of course, but we can also talk about individual athletes, or we can talk about bigger pieces where sport has made an impact on the city. If you're just so into your business career, right? Yeah. We can talk to you about that, and we can have that fun. We can do hands-on things. You can type on a Selectric typewriter, which does not seem fun, but
until you do it.
And then you get the tactile response, and you get to watch 16-year-olds be like, but where's the erase button?
And it's like,
there isn't one, friend.
That's whiteout.
Right. You know what whiteout is. So that piece is there. I think the other, museums aren't for everybody. I fully acknowledge that. But we want this museum to be for as many Lexingtonians and as many visitors to Lexington as possible. And so there are a lot of words, but you don't have to read them all. Yeah. You can just be attracted to the thing that grabs your attention. And that can lead you to the next question. And again, we're not the only act in town, and we're not always the smartest act in town. So if you can ask us a question and then we can get you to the person that gives you that passionate answer, that's a win for us.
Yeah, I think it's important to be inquisitive, and I think it's okay to start with things that you're interested in. Like you mentioned, sports. people don't even know that they're quoting history when you can name who the coach was in 1952
right.
UK. I mean, I know you bleed blue over here. What is kind of like one of the most interesting things that you've learned about the city of Lexington, or just someone with ties to Lexington when it comes to history? I know that's a loaded question. It might be like, who's your favorite child?
Right. I get asked a version of this question a lot, and I give a different answer every time.
Yeah. Well, I love it. Yeah. Shake it up.
So I think recently I've been really, really into women who made an impact in Lexington.
Yeah.
Right.
But you want to,
yeah.
You can relate to that, right? Yeah.
And this is a woman I can't really relate to, but I'm thankful for her every day. The first woman engineering graduate from the University of Kentucky's name was Margaret Ingalls. She grew up in Paris, Kentucky, not France. Paris, Kentucky, and came to UK and graduated in 1916. Yeah. And she went on to work for Carrier and helped develop air conditioning for personal use.
Wow.
Without her, the only place that you could get air conditioning were in those big industrial spaces like a movie theater.
Yeah.
But she figured out how to measure relative humidity that would then kick on a smaller machine. So it has been blazing in Lexington lately.
Thank you, Mary Ingalls.
So thank you. That piece, right, that's just one person who was educated at the university, who really, the university has an outsized impact on the city, which is great to have the flagship. But she makes all of our lives better because she figures out how to cool the air in a home, in a small space. And without her, we'd all just be like sweating and uncomfortable and angry all the time. So she's a great example of that. And we have hundreds of other folks who have made that something seemingly small today, but was just earth-shattering.
Yeah.
And the story of IBM in Lexington is that.
Yeah.
I don't know that you can overstate the impact of IBM in the city.
Not at all.
And when I took this job, I didn't want to talk about typewriters. I was
You're like,
oh my God, it's 2022. We have phones in our pockets that can type things. Why am I talking about typewriters? Yeah. Except that bringing IBM to Lexington changed the city in huge ways and tiny ways. And we still feel those impacts today with the folks who are here, certain neighborhoods, the ways that the industrial organizations in this town developed. IBM is integral in that.
Yeah, I literally would not be here without IBM, which is I don't think I never thought I would say that. Like actually say that. Like I was born here.
Yeah.
Stayed here, and it's all because of a typewriter?
Yeah. And IBM wouldn't be here because if it weren't for the chamber recruiting them and the University of Kentucky growing and having this massive educated workforce. So those interconnections then when you start peeling the onion back, you're like, oh, hey. Yeah. This is Lexington, right? And the best thing about Lexington, I think, is that small town feel of it. So we're 330,000 people today. Massive growth with IBM and the university and whatever in the 20th century, but we're still that very connected, very small town where if you're one step away from a person who knows a person. Yeah, I was like, it's like half a degree of separation between everybody, which sometimes is a good thing and sometimes a bad thing, but at least, I like this. It's not as much red tape, and you can actually talk to a human being and get access to really help. And so when we talk about just history and your history, right? Graduated from UK, got your doctorate from UK, you're in Lex History, you tell so many different people's stories and you're so a part of, I don't think you know that you're making history or you're a part of history, but what would you want people to say about Dr. Mandy Higgins in history? It can be good or bad. I think that's what's incredible about that historically what's been incredible about Lexington and what is today is that connection. And so for me, I hope that folks say this is somebody who loves the city and who's trying really hard to give a place for folks to understand the city and understand its past. and doing so in the most truthful manner possible, in an approachable manner, so that when it's challenging or when it's something new, we're learning together and we're not isolating folks and we're not leaving people out. Because one of the things that historians in history have done
left a lot out.
You know, historians are people.
Yeah.
They're not perfect, and we're only as good as the sources that are available to us and our ability to read them. Meaning, like, not only just to read that you learned in grade school, but also the interpretation and knowing when they were created. And so I hope that when folks talk about me for ill or for good, that it is in that concept of deep thought and bringing that to the people, because the worst thing that we can do is gatekeep it from folks. It needs to be open and available. It's the only way we're going to continue to see where we came from, and it's what makes it really exciting to have a museum like this, is that we can share these stories and we can have conversations and catch where we missed something, or where a new topic has come in, or someone has discovered in the D, right? There's a great research happening in the county clerk's office with the Digital Access Project.
Oh, yeah.
That we can learn new things about the city that's 250 years old and bring it into the interpretation here, because we are that first place that folks can come to get that broad overview.
Yeah, I know you said whether people talk good or ill, but I don't think a lot of people are going to talk ill about you, because I think it's important that I love that you have that outlook on making sure that people are being seen, and not only being seen, but feeling seen when it comes to the story of Lexington, because we're all a part of it.
That's right.
And so having that outlook of wanting to still learn things and share these stories and have this interconnection with the community, we thank you for it. And thank you I know this is not a light undertaking. Like, I want people to know there's a lot of work that goes into having a space for us to come and experience and learn about Lexington. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And
Mandy,
thank you to Visit Lex for always being an incredible partner for us. We couldn't be here without the support of Visit Lex.
You know, thank you. We paid her to say that.
Well, I think it's important I know. But I do think it's important that our listeners, our friends, know how much that Visit Lex supports good history in this town and supports the work of history in this town, and we really couldn't do it without a visitors bureau in a city who values that. So thank you.
I can't take all the credit, even though my ego wants me to. I'm just joking, but no, we have a great team, and I'm so thankful to work with Visit Lex, and I get to sit down and learn about your history and your stories, and so we appreciate the partnership. So
thank you.
This is a letter from me to you. I said go big blue. I said go big blue. I said go big blue. It's a letter to Lexington, message from me to you. Never thought I'd make it.